Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Headmasters blog. It's Friday, the 10th of June, and I offer you all a very warm welcome back to school after what I hope was a relaxing and restful break together with your families over half term. And particularly well done to our Year 11 cohort who have hit the ground running, come straight back in to their GCSE examinations this week, and shown the sort of customary diligence and maturity with which they have long been associated. So well done to you, gentlemen. On Monday morning, we also held our first lockdown practice for some time. COVID restrictions, obviously the reason therein. Before half term, there was a relatively serious incident involving the police at Esher High, and it was in the local news. You may well have seen it. It's been in our planning anyway to do a lockdown practice because it's been a while, and I think given that we've got a lot of new children since the last time that we conducted one, and indeed staff, it's a timely and important way just to remind everybody of what they need to do in terms of protocol and procedure should that kind of emergency situation arise. And everybody did extremely well, and the whole thing ran very smoothly indeed. So good news there, and let's hope we don't have to put it into practice. On Wednesday morning, Miss Highlands and the Eco Club talked with great fervour and knowledge about small ways in which all of us can make better choices on a day-to-day basis that will add up to a powerful collective to help us have more sustainability at home, at school, and indeed the planet at large. I thought that the boys talked really enthusiastically and informatively, and I know that Miss Highlands is very keen to add some girls to the Eco team moving forward. So please don't be shy. Come and join this very 21st century team in the new year and have a chat with Miss Highlands if you'd like to find out more about it. Yesterday morning, Mr. Sikdeo and I had a fantastic couple of hours as we interviewed Year 10 applicants for positions of responsibility next year. I was absolutely blown away by the sincerity of the way that everybody talked, their respect in a way for what the school has done for them, which is always heartwarming to hear, and their articulation in a very sort of personal way of what the values of the Kingswood House Way has meant for them, how they will embody that and carry it forward in their roles if they're appointed, and indeed the resonance of the Kingswood House Way in general in life beyond the school gate. We had some really constructive discussions, and every single individual that we interviewed really created a fantastic impression. It's going to be a very difficult selection process, but well done to everybody who had the confidence and self-esteem to put themselves forward. I think that's the first thing to say. And secondly, really very much in keeping with our principle of democracy in action. And I look forward to the same process for our current Year 7s who are going to put themselves forward to be upper prep prefects on Monday together with Mr. Clark. I also know that yesterday Mr. Mitchell enjoyed taking the Year 8 boys and girls out for a hike in the Surrey countryside. I think the weather just about held fair. He was really impressed with the stamina that everybody showed and reported back to me that everybody's in good condition for the Duke of Edinburgh expeditions that lie in store next year. So I'm really glad that you had such a good day. And obviously at Year 8s, you've got a trips week to look forward to, although it might not be the original plan, as I think you now know. We are going to put in place a fantastic week of day trips for you, and then you're going to have your residential early in September next term. So you are going to get, in a sense, 2 weeks for the price of one, and I will be joining you on one of those days in trip week. I think Mr. Lordy has penciled me in for Thorpe Park. So what that entails, I look forward to. The last time I went there was 1985, so it's probably a bit different. Finally, for me, please just remember that vaping is very much something that is against the law for anybody who is under 18. We have had one or two very singular incidences of pupils having a vape here on site. I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but as you will know, I'm going to be talking to parents in Year 6 upwards this afternoon just to kind of say the same thing that I'm about to say now, which is it's against the law. You are not allowed to possess or smoke a vape if you are under 18 in this country. And as a school, it's our duty to uphold the law of the land. We do all that we can to educate the girls and boys about all sorts of things, ranging from smoking, drugs, alcohol, consent, you name it, we do it. But what we cannot do is literally police every single individual 24 hours of the day. And that is where you as parents come in. You have a part to play. Social media, and TikTok in particular, has influencers who talk very positively about vaping. And therefore, I think because everyone knows it's sort of 95% safer than traditional or conventional smoking, it's somehow become glamorized. As parents, you have a responsibility to chart your son or daughter's access to the internet. You have the power to look at their bags, to look at their persons before they come into school. If a child is on the school site with a vape, it leaves us in a pretty invidious position where a sanction will need to be applied. So it is very much a duty of care for you to try and make sure that that situation does not materialise. And if it does, then we are very much in a position where a sanction will be applied of a relatively serious level, dependent on, of course, any context. And we don't want to be put in that position. I think it's important to say prevention is always better than cure. We have an immense level of supervision, lots of CCTV everywhere, but we cannot regulate inside the girls' or boys' toilets. It is not permissible due to safeguarding. So this is where the children need to make wise choices, and any little that you can do at home to reinforce that would be much appreciated. Here are this week's mentions in dispatches. Well done to Verity for her positive attitude in PE this week. Well done to all of reception for remembering lots of French words for mini beasts, colours, numbers and clothes. Well done to Ted Ramsey, who's come back into school with a very positive attitude this week. Max Billick, well done to you for settling in so well, working hard, learning more and more English for every day. And well done also to you, Matt, from Madame Swift, who says he just hasn't stopped smiling and tries hard with any work he's given. He's still persevering with English, but he's also doing jolly well in his French. So you are a good role model already, Max. Well done to Max Whiting, showing really good enthusiasm, returning to school this half of term. Pleased to be back. And Seb Phillips, some excellent writing in English, says Miss Forbes. Freddie Latimer and Josh Graham, lots of good enthusiasm in maths, says Miss Sumners. And Torrin also for an excellent piece of writing. Harvey Mufti, Benji Adams and Indy Daisley have made really good contributions to PSHE for Mrs. Lindley, and Aaron has impressed with his good manners and respect for others. Ezra Oxley Wilson keeps on doing his best week in, week out, and Rex Treadwell, even more of him being his best self every day, reports Mr. Barrett. All of 7BA have caught the eye of Madame Taylor. They were a real pleasure to have in class for a special Jubilee lesson this week. Well done again to Rex. Another nomination for you from Mrs. Lindley. So well done to you, Rex. Keep it up. Dylan Newman, Henry Rusco, Kishan, all pupils have returned to school this week with big smiles, says Miss Black. Pippa Taylor has shown really good maturity dealing with other people this week, says Miss Patel. Eddie Collins, excellent artwork, especially a elaborate stick man. Well done to you. Charles Wren, real focus so far this term, and his IPQ presentation was excellent. Dylan Bishop and Noah Seeger, both pupils stayed behind to talk about potentially becoming a pilot in their future career with Mr. Rusco on Monday. Well done, boys. Good enthusiasm, and thank you so much to Mr. Rusco, Henry's dad, for coming in and sparing the time to talk about that career. Much appreciated. Ibrahim Mohammed has made a good start to this half of term, says Mr. Lordy. And in general, Madame Taylor reports that all of 8T have had a very sensible and mature discussion about social media during form time recently. Mr. Westcott would like to commend all of the biathletes, that's Enzo Reid and Harry Lation, Jason Shee, Conor Morley Alvarez, Sebastian Versace, Byron Miller, Peter Summers, Max Kenner, Ollie Rosendale, Max Whiting, Jamie Chatfield, Toby Hassan, Zach Bland, Gregory Chung, Penny Christian, Phoebe Whiting, well done to you. I know you had a great time over at Parkside and were fantastic ambassadors for the school. Well done. Into the seniors, this is a lovely one here. Ted Bunya-Ames and James Kilkenny, Ben Hubbard and Patrick Gray. A lady nearby at Cash Point dropped an enormous wad of notes scattered all over the pavement, and these four gents leaped into action, picked them all up and made sure that she had every single note back in her possession. And she was so delighted that she insisted, much against their protestations, on giving them all £10 each. So although it shouldn't, it does occasionally pay to do the right thing. Well done, gents. Ted Benurames, another nomination for you, working hard on his classwork from Mrs. Lindley. Ben Hubbard, Rory Fitzpatrick, really good determination with DAV route cards from Ms. Patel. Rory Slater and Ozzy Sullivan, some great endeavour in their options this week from Mr. Hendry. Marcus Glenn and Ali Al-Rabai being very polite when they bumped into Mr. Sikdeo going bowling. Gosh, what bad luck that is, gents. You get out to have a nice evening, you bump into Mr. Sikdeo. Or what on earth must have you thought? Well done for being polite. Jess Dunn, really good work ethic and a very sophisticated analysis of war and conflict poetry from Mrs. Bray. And Ali Al-Rabai, another nomination for you, contributing extremely well to discussions from Mrs. Lindley. And finally, Mrs. Weston's class, she is very proud of the fact that Miss Foster was so pleased with them during an English cover lesson. The class were fantastic, she reported. It was a fun lesson, they got on with their work and showed great diligence. Well done. And finally, Jack Bunyer-Ames and Will Moffat went and tidied up of their own volition after the Jubilee lunch out in the playground before half term, which was fantastic citizenship in evidence. Indeed it is. Just by way of rounding off then, we have our final tea and talk for girls and their parents on Monday, which Ros McLeod will be joining us for, and it will be an opportunity for us to reflect upon what's been a very successful first year of co-education. All of the girls' parents, all of the staff, teaching and administrative staff have supported a questionnaire which I've conducted, and overwhelmingly the feedback has been incredibly positive, and also some really good constructive comments for us to take forward into our planning next year. And without dwelling on that too much, that is simply going to be to try and make sure that boys and girls are further integrated, less separation. So we will still do tea and talk, but it'll be less frequent, it'll be much more discursive, and the boys and girls will interact in these kind of topical seminars with visiting speakers and indeed internal staff from next year, just to try and make sure that everything is even more homogenous. And we've got some exciting staffing news and one or two other things to unveil in due course. So that will be to the benefit of everybody in our co-educational model moving forward. So very exciting news there. We have Sports Day to look forward to. We have our Kingswood House Ball, which I now think is sold out, which is amazing. I am so excited about that night. We have Jollies on the last day of term and grandparent morning. So your grandparents should all have received an invitation to come along to that day. We'd love to get some early responses, please. In the meantime, I wish you all a very relaxing and restful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week.